Hey, what's up, guys? So, as you can see, I took a serious beating on this one. And what I wanted to do is just kind of go over what happened instead of making this really, really long video showing how I lose. Because I think there's more to gain from the loss, and just maybe you guys can see how you can benefit from my trial and error. But let's give credit to Gerard, and I'll go in. I want to show the matchup here. Of course, this is me, and this is Gerard. So I guess that was about a 11, 12 mil punch down. And for me, punch up for him. And I just want to show you what he was able to do. So let's go through what he did first here. And what he did is, I had the standard rogue with extreme. He went in very efficiently and beat that with his superior 6. And then I was trying out this Spider Society. And I'll run this video so you guys can see it, because it's actually not bad. And so I'm undecided on what I'm going to do here next. We'll talk about that a little bit more, but let's just run through this video. So as you can see here, Spider Society is very quick, compared to Pegasus. They just run right in. And Weaver is strong, so of course she dodged. They have a lot of dodges, as you can see. They're dodging. And if they were stronger, Spider Society that is, maybe they could do more damage in the onset, but they're not. Peter is a 3 red, even though he's G18. And so as you see, my Weaver gets taken out quickly, along with 99. So they're just not going to be helpful with this team. The big but is the trio is still here. They're all level 95. And they're all maxed out abilities, but they're hanging in there. And so it just makes me think about, what will the 4-piece look like? Definitely the 5-piece, but what will the 4-piece look like? And so I didn't have a lot of cores, but I cored Pav and got him at 30 over 45. So I will work on him to add him to this team. And maybe there's a way to add another Hero Spider-Verse that could actually, benefit this team. I don't know that'd be Weaver. You see how quickly she died, when they focused in on her like this. But this team is really dragging out the fight. We're talking about a 10 on the VP. And so it just makes me think that there's a lot of potential here when we get the full team, of course, but maybe even with the 4-piece. And so, to my surprise, Peter is still there. Now, you can see his Pegasus is just about full power. But when this ends, I want you to just take another look at the stats. And so when we look at this, we're looking at a turn bonus of a 10, and we're looking at the health of a 20. And so, this is really not that bad, considering it was a 3-piece, and they're all level 95, and you can tell his Pegasus is just way stronger. Look at the diamonds on that team. And the scores are 83-55. So there's some theory crafting that could possibly be done here. And I just need to give that some thought on what could some possibilities be. And so as I move down to here, this team actually did fairly well, and it makes me wonder what I want to do here next. But, and I guess I'll show it, because he did go in with a very, very strong new Warriors. And the concept of this team was just because Dorn was going to get the revive, and that made the difference. But it makes me wonder, what would this team be like in room 6, or should they stay in room 3? And so the idea behind this team is basically that you have a lot of tunes that are going to taunt. You have some blocks going on, and it looks like this match is over pretty quickly from the onset, but the revives are what keeps this team alive. And so when we look at everybody revives, and now at the end of the day, Hulk is back to full power, and I believe Black Knight gets back up to full power, full health, or yeah, he's pretty strong in the green. And so now it's just the two of them dragging this out. So when you're looking at trying to drag down efficiency, and the Black Knight does get up to full health, it just makes you wonder if this team could be useful. Clearly, the other rooms that I have as we go through them are not strong enough as a supporting cast. But I got to get some thought if I'm going to run this again, because it was not totally useless. And then so when we get done watching this, let's just look back at the stats to just kind of compare. And so you can see how they finish. Now we have a three diamond Deathpool, Firestar, and Cloak, and that team is barely surviving. Now we look at the health as a 7 VP, so that's pretty ideal. Even though the turn bonus is a 19, but his score is still at 8351. So when we look at that 8351 and we look at an 8355, those aren't really that bad as far as like trying to keep an opponent and drag down their efficiency. Now the problem comes in, of course, with room 1, because it did nothing. And then here we have room 4. And I don't know if Gamma was the best team to go in with, but considering what else he was using and what he had on defense, this probably was pretty ideal. And then you have an 8350. So there's a lot to consider here. Just kind of looking at how this all played out. And I don't know if it's any point to play this. Well, I guess I could play it. I think the key thing is just how fast Black Order takes off. I don't know if it's worth trying to get them any stronger, but clearly, if they were, maybe more could be done, more damage. And the key damage is really Quicksilver. I just don't, at this particular moment, I just don't think I can make him any stronger than what he is. But seeing how this team got a full round of turns, and even Maul gets to come in and get his turn, it lets you know that there's potential to this team just being in here to drag down efficiency. So, I'm pretty decided to keep them going in this room. I'm surprised at just how long the full team is lasting. Now, of course, when Red Hulk goes, that's the the seal the deal move. But even so, they're still going. Quicksilver's still going. He hits pretty hard, and at the end here, we're going to just pretty much see Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch still dragging this thing out. And so once again, this team is not here to win or hold the room. It's just here to drag down efficiency. And so they're pretty much accomplishing the goal. We got a 4-piece Gamma left, and do they end with a 3-piece or is it a 4-piece? So we'll see, because I can't even remember how it ended. Okay, so it ended with a 4-piece. But overall, I mean, this score is an 8350. So this room did its job. Now, I'm not saying that will be consistent, because another guy may not have as much as this guy had on defense and come in with something much stronger, get better efficiency. Just at the moment, I just think this is probably a good move to continue forward with. And so here, Infinity Watch did his job. And once again, like I said, he had a lot on defense. So Infinity Watch does his job here. This is, we're looking at Darkhold, but it's APOC obviously did the work here. And so Emma was not that great. And I think Doolum had a point, because I watched Antiblade today, and Antiblade went in with the regular, went against the Juicy defense where you have Dorman here with this team. And he cleared it out with New Warriors. So it just goes to show that it served its purpose the first week, and I'm inclined to believe that Secret Defenders just has to go back onto offense. And so now it makes me wonder, what do I put into room 6? And so that's where, I did have some success with Out of Time in room 6, but yeah, I've got to give some thought to what else I can run into room six, and that may be where I put, maybe I put the another X-Men team in six, or maybe this is where I move Infinity Watch over to six. But clearly, half the rooms I have are okay in a sense. Then what I need to look at is Bifrost the the team that causes the confusion, because the straight Pegasus counter is not the answer. What we've seen so far is Void Knight or APOC, and that causes a lot of confusion. And so that's when I'm inclined to believe that Bifrost could be the answer to really shake up a defense, because this is the second time I've gotten stuck on a Bifrost. So let's just go through and I'll show you. Here is the Bifrost. And it's a result of the goal was to go in here with APOC. That was the plan. I was going to go in here with Pegasus and APOC. The problem is when I went into his room 4, I went in thinking that Undying would work with Void Knight and Nova, and it just did not. It was pretty bad, and so I thought that maybe bringing the APOC would clear it out. That was a mistake. So maybe I should have just kept the first one and going in with what I did here with the. Well, I guess I couldn't keep the first one because I had Void Knight. So that's probably why I canceled, because I figured I was going to need Void Knight again. But this thing was just a train wreck. And so it still took a sack. And that's what this room comes down to. If you're not going in here with Scroll, it just takes a sack. Or your powerhouse teams. And so when we look at room 1, I did okay going in with my superior 6 against his Rogue Extreme. Once again, this is where it got devastating for me, because there was just nothing. I mean, the closest I got was throwing in Cable and getting a little speed advantage here. But, at the end of the day, maybe, I mean, I still was able to, well, I wasn't able to clear it, but maybe because I had gotten Sylvie killed, maybe if I would have just let the game end there and but I let it play out, and then Vol revived Sylvie. Not that it mattered, because, the guy, he one-shot everything. But what I'm getting at is this still turns out to be a challenging team, because there's a limited amount of counters. People are saying there's a lot of counters. The problem is when you start using key tunes on offense and defense in your other rooms, it still turns out to be a challenge. And this was the only room that really went well for me, but it was Cabal versus Cabal. And so it got me wondering too, like, wow, do you put Cabal on defense? Because then, they're going to have to use their Cabal. And so we get down here, and I just said, to hell with, let's just see if how War Dogs would do in this room on a 500k punch down. And they failed. And it's like, wow, they failed pretty bad. I mean, they started off great, but, they just did not do well. The only way to go is just to go in with Eternals, some kind of Eternals team at this point, especially when you see them in 5, but probably 3 as well. And here, like I was saying before, I just think that it's time to take Secret Defenders off of defense. They're just not really being that effective. So even for me, you can see I was able to go in with New Warriors. It was pretty close, because he's got a G18 Strange, and he was the last to die. It was really kind of crazy how it was so hard to, kind of hard to kill him. But at the end of the day, New Warriors is just taking care of whatever you put with Secret Defenders in here. So I just don't know that there's a point to it, other than if you want to try to make some confusion with where to use New Warriors. At the moment, I think, because my Bifrost is pretty big, I did take Sylvie to 18. I'm just putting them back in there. Doolin was probably right on point, saying at least come in, because for sure they're going to use a superior 6 on your extreme here. And he was saying he's gotten some good results. So I'm just going to look to see if anybody posts any results with the extreme and dorm where it looks like it's more of a struggle, because Rogue may go back in there. At the moment, the second X-Men team is just going to go in 3. I still have 4, and Out of Time is in 6. And so, because I did have some success with Out of Time in 6, so we'll see if that can make any type of a difference. But I don't expect there to be much, because what it's seeming like is, even though they're saying don't use scroll on defense, you can maybe use scroll on defense to screw some things up for your opponent. The question would be, if your scroll is on defense and his on defense, what then? Or, if he has Cabal on defense and scroll and they're in separate rooms. But at any rate, I just want to put this out here, guys. It's just some more theory crafting, some more thinking to do on what next, and how to try to move forward progress with this season. Okay, guys, chat later.